Um, we've come a long way since that day at the Curragh, haven't we? The first 100 yards of which are probably confined to the vaults, never to be watched again. When he made his debut.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, he just yeah. He lost 6 lengths that day at the gates, and I think he wasn't beaten that far. He was only beaten ahead or something. But listen, he's grown up and listen, he's mature and lovely.
How much does the fact that he is so laid back actually help?
Listen, it's a big help because like you're less chance of overworking him really, I suppose. But listen, listen, the lads do a great job with him. Craig rides him, and Andrew and Davey and everyone who look after him, they do a great job with him. So and Darren who rides his lead horse. So it's listen, everyone is a big help, and everyone is aware of it, and everybody's working together all the time.
Was it really the day he beat Free Eagle at Leopardstown that you suddenly felt the world suddenly realised exactly what he was?
I suppose we thought the world of him before Leopardstown, and like obviously, if you remember, the horse that made the run in Leopardstown is the horse that won the trial in in um, in Chester, so he was making the running that day for him. So we were very happy, going into Leopardstown, and we were really looking forward to, because it was going to be a straightforward run race. Everything was there, and he was either going to be good enough or he wasn't. And so he turned in and like he just changed gears.
Would you say, would it be fair to say that at the start of the season, you, looking at the pedigree of the horse, probably thought this is a Derby horse, and if you could win a Guineas, it would be a bonus?
Ah, yeah. Listen, obviously the reason for going to the Guineas was, like, we thought he was probably a Derby horse like we haven't had, and obviously the Guineas, we were going to go there and going to get good ground, and going a mile straight down, and it was 5 weeks, rather than you were going to go to some of the other trials. It was going to be like you weren't going to be sure about pace, you weren't going to be sure about anything, but in the Guineas you were going to be sure. And listen, it was going to be, listen, I wouldn't dream of 1 minute saying that the Guineas was being used as a trial, but for the horse it was going to be the most straightforward trial for him, if everything was well.
Just put into perspective, how much of a problem was the build up to the Guineas for you?
Actually, listen, it was far from ideal. 6, 8 weeks ago, before the 6, 7, 8 weeks ago before the Guineas, he was coughing. But like a lot of the, listen, those things come with a horse and could disappear. But whatever that was with him, he had it, and then it went through the whole place. If you know what I mean. So when he got over it, he was grand. But everything, probably most of the other horses were coughing. But and as the word and coughing, we were running them, but it's far from ideal, because when that kind of a thing is hanging around, like horses are running, and we're training them, trying to get them healthy without setting them back. So you're training them very cautiously, because if they're going to win classics or going to win big races, they have to turn up in the preps. It won't happen if you don't.
And must have been a big plus too, though, that because he's been to the Guineas, he can handle the parade and all that sort of stuff, which people do make an issue of a bit at Epsom.
Ah, yeah, no, listen, everything has always been like, if he was a human being, you'd have to be watching him all the time, because his favorite pastime is yawning. You know what I mean? So you just have to be. You have to. He doesn't worry too much about anything. He's a very relaxed demeanor. Yeah.
You've run a lot of 3-year-olds in the last week. Has it been a useful week, also from a fact-finding point of view?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've learnt a lot. I suppose we've learnt about the health of the horses, that they're starting to come back together, and we've learned about some of the horses are not ready for Epsom. Do you understand? And like if we ran them in Epsom, they'd probably end up in the stands. But it's good, like, because we're sorting it out. Like, to go to Epsom, you have to have a horse has to be mature. He has to be very straightwise. He has to be fit. Do you understand? He has to have a good mind, and he has to be tough, and he has to be able to handle all the things. So listen, that's what trials are for, and it's they all like, for, I suppose, the worst thing in the world, you want them all, if they all won trials, and then you might have to go to Epsom before them, maybe they were ready. But this week we've learned some of them are not ready for it. You know what I mean? So but listen, it's we're very happy.